Satan in session. Whenever you meet an expert on a subject matter, it's typically because they've really delved into a topic. They say that you can become an expert on just about anything by spending 10,000 hours working on it. And I'm not sure how many hours 50 years of working on camp is, but I'd call you an expert.
That's about 1,000. Plus.
So we did have some questions that were generated from discussion earlier today, and I wrote some of those down. But as we go on, I'm sure other questions will pop up. How would you like to start?
Well, I've heard a definition of expert, but I'm not sure I can quite quote it. Maybe some of you can help me, but X is what? The unknown factor. And spurt is a drip under pressure.
Well played, sir.
He's been under pressure for 50 years.
It's pretty low.
All right, questions for Bill. It says, could you share some of your time teaching school in Nigeria? I think there's one thing that really stands out in my mind, that students there really wanted to get an education. Is that true here?
Not always.
Here's what I'm referring to. You remember when the couple hundred Chibok girls got kidnapped and hauled off and raped and killed and disappeared forever and had to marry Muslims? In 60 and 61 and 2, those girls had no opportunity to go to school because it was a masculine culture. And the boys, only the boys could go to school. And in Chibok, they had what they called a junior primary, but no senior primary. A junior primary would be elementary. And a senior primary would be basically our junior high. So I was a biology major and music minor, kind of an unusual combination.
I didn't know you were a music minor. That's interesting.
And just a sidebar, I was in a cappella choir 4 years, and a cappella made college experience for me.
Huh. Baritone?
Excuse me?
Were you a baritone? Were you a tenor or baritone or a bass?
Bass, second bass.
Ooh.
At that point, I get 2 octaves below middle C.
Huh.
Just kind of rumble.
That's kind of awesome.
Well, anyway, I was in senior primary school in Lhasa. There was no junior primary. Let me start again. I was in senior primary in Lhasa. There was no senior primary in Chibok, which was 35 miles away. And there were boys in Chibok who wanted to go to school. The only opportunity they had was to attend Lhasa. No public transportation, no transportation at all except 2 feet. So at the beginning of the term, they would walk the 35 miles carrying what cornmeal, dry cornmeal they could on their head, because that's a staple food, making cornmeal mush. Find some family who would allow them to sleep in a corner, go to school in Lhasa. Then when they ran out of food, they would take off first light on Saturday morning, walk the 35 miles to Chibok, be there by dark. Load up with the dry cornmeal, take off first light Sunday morning, be at Lhasa by dark Sunday night, and have energy enough to go to school on Monday morning. That's dedication.
That's hoofing it.
And they walk fast. About 3.5 miles an hour, 3.5 to 4 miles an hour. I don't know if you could find any boy here that'd be willing to do that today. Because you look around, in Polo, parents have to take the kids, pick them up in a car and drive them just a few blocks to school, let alone 35 miles. And there were between 38 and 40 students crowded in the classroom, no textbook, but a bench to sit on and a carpenter-made table and a pen and their own notebook. That was educational material.
So what
But I-
classes did you teach?
Excuse me?
What classes did you teach?
English, phys ed, and geography.
Okay.
Baseball they loved. Broke the bats. So I'd send them out in the bush and to get a bat. And they'd come back with a stick, and that's what they used for bats, because we didn't have any bats. You break something, you had to
Find it.
find something to replace it. I think of that probably as the biggest contrast. I had one student, and he was a houseboy for Betty and me. And I think here the cultural difference between there and here, it was culture there to hire people to do your menial tasks. But his name was Quada. Quada went to Jos, which was a 500-mile trip. That was the closest that the railhead came to where we were living. And Quada said he saw a train. I said, Quada, tell the class, describe the train. He thought, I can't. He had no words to describe what a train or a locomotive was like. Not even choo-choo. At that time it was steam engine. You just couldn't. Now, any question about schools or education?
So how long were you over there teaching? Was that like a 3-month thing? Was that a year thing? Was that a 2-year thing?
I was there almost 2 years. And a lot of those boys that I had in class went on to take the test to get the next level of education, to take the test to get the next level of education. And a lot of those boys wound up in major, major governmental positions, which we felt as missionaries that was good. Our job had been successful. In fact, Musa Mumbala. Did you ever meet Musa Mumbala? Ralph, have you ever met Musa Mumbala?
I don't think so.
Musa Mumbala is a pastor in northern Indiana now. He and his wife, Rebecca, they had to flee Nigeria for their own safety. And I stayed in their home in Michika. Michika was one of the hot spots where Muslims attacked Christians. They burnt the church, I think 3 times. I'd say Maiduguri.
Oh,
Maiduguri. You've been in Maiduguri.
Maiduguri, I think, at one time had the largest congregation in the Church of the Brethren in the entire world.
In the world.
And it was a wonderful worship experience, and they would have multiple worships per day, and this really gigantic building would be packed, and then all the side walls were opened up, and then people would line up for layers to watch in there, and then after this mob of people, they would all go out, and then another mob would come in and fill it up
Yeah.
multiple times.
Wow.
Compare that to your churches today.
Nope.
Doesn't happen. Yeah, it would not be safe for us to even appear in Maiduguri today, but at that time, Muslims and Christians lived side by side and got along fine.
I've read some research indicating that Nigeria is on track to be the 3rd largest country in the world based on population within the next couple decades. Do you see, because when I view Nigeria from the outside, I view them as one of the leaders of that continent. They're one of the largest, one of the most wealthy, one of the most sophisticated nations. What do you see as potential for, because I don't know many Nigerians personally, what do you see as, how do Nigerians view themselves in relation to their neighboring countries or in relation to the world as a larger body?
Well, I can speak only from missionary point of view. That they see their role like our role was 40 or 50 years ago. They're reaching out to their neighboring countries, spreading the gospel, setting up mission stations or preaching points,
yeah.
and spreading the word. Other parts of your question, I really I can't address. I don't know.
That's fair.
I mean, they have a lot of wealth, but it's also a lot of inequality.
Now, there's a dynamic here. I think you'll go with me in understanding this. Did the missionaries and the Christian groups both divided up different parts of Nigeria with Sudan Interior Mission, the Brethren Mission, and other places, and this and this? Did they do too good a job of health care?
Wait, what?
Healthcare.
No, I heard.
Health care.
Okay.
How does one
Because
do
of-
too good of a job at that?
Because of overpopulation.
Oh, I see. Okay.
See where I'm getting at?
Yeah, now I do.
Because with increased health care and saving more babies being born, putting more impact on the environment. I don't know. But it is something that rattles around in my head anyway. Because, you know, Mother Nature can only sustain so many people.
That's a fact.
So I haven't fully answered your question, but I don't know where to go with it.
Well, I appreciate you going this far with me. We can go to the next question if you like.
Okay? How did you and Betty meet? We met a long ways away from here. She was in LASA under the General Mission Program in a doctor and a nurse, being Betty, were responsible for a 60-bed hospital.
That's nuts. One
Nope.
nurse is crazy.
Nope.
I mean,
Well, she was kind of like the assistant administrator. They had
oh,
other Nigerian nurses,
still, I mean,
But-
that's still a lot to handle.
and whenever a doctor would do surgery, put somebody down, she was the anesthetist,
Oh gosh.
Snap.
yes, using
Nope.
ether.
No.
That was state of the art back then, right?
I mean,
that?
yeah, but still.
No.
But Dr. Hamer, the surgeon, he had a very, very responsible assistant who had seen surgery from 2 or 3 doctors over the many, many years. And I could walk into surgery, believe this or not, I could walk into surgery and stand right there and watch what Doc was doing. And I saw Dr. Hamer one time turn to Kutariju and say, Kutariju, now what do I do? And Kutariju knew what to do because of the years of experience that he had. Two of the biggest things that they would bring into the hospital were stab wounds on market day, because on the corner of the market there was a tree where they had to check in their guns and knives when they come into market day. And often their guns were a 3/4 inch water pipe that they converted to shotguns. And occasionally they'd blow them up. And knives, but they would get drunk with bukatu, the corned beer, and get in a fight.